Welcome to the Law of One, as we continue our discussions from A Wanderer's Handbook. And now we shall talk about pride and surrender. Jonah is an ebullient and gifted artist, and when in the flow of her creative work, she experiences many energies, some of which feel highly spiritual. She writes to me, "I am trying to understand the difference between the Creator's will and my own will. Sometimes I think there is no difference at all, that in fact, whatever is my will is also the Creator's. But realistically, I don't think this is true, at least not all the time. What do you think about this? Is there a line to be drawn in our perceptions of these things, and also in the reality of this? What is a good way to think about these things?" I think the question is very tied in with the concept of humility, but I really don't know how to address it in an intelligent manner. Notice that there is no pride in her question at all. She is simply having experiences and thinking about and weighing them. When one is in the flow, it feels as though our will is one with the Creator's. I have moments, hours, sometimes days in somewhat altered states of joy and light. These are experiences. They happen. I cannot predict them except to say that adversity seems to encourage them. Now, how to evaluate them? Similarly, with the whole issue of wanderers, differences from more worldly and unawakened people, it is not that we are more intelligent or better or wiser even, but that we feel not only different, but glad of it. It is very easy to be prideful, to feel better than. It is the attitude encompassed so admirably by Oscar when he said, more or less, that all of us were lying drunk in the gutter, but some of us were looking at the stars. Now, QO says, as long as you think that you have a self that you need to defend, you shall be working with spiritual pride. And so entities, for the most part, are working with this no matter how persistently and purely and devotionally they have sought year after year, yet still there is the sense of, I am searching, I am looking, I am seeking to become the best that I can. So sometimes we can hold pride before us like a shield. To gaze at the pride within an entity is to gaze upon that portion of the self that has been created by the self for the purpose of self-defense. That is, one who has pride has attempted to discover a good, right, or noble way to think or behave or speak. Then one adopts the mask that is most efficient, most in line with the desired making of an impression on others. It is as though a man with a modest garden were to put a wall 20 feet high about the garden, certainly more than the garden needs, in order to be a protected plot. This wall, however we may see it in ourselves, is of our making. The question is, How can we become courageous enough to let down the wall? The final goal of all of these true spiritual paths is humility and a willingness to surrender that clay, the pride, the arrogance, the unworthiness, and fear. To surrender all these emotions utterly to the power and peace of knowing that you are love